Hi, good morning family. I'm Tasha, MamabearPrepping. Welcome to the channel. Welcome back to the channel. I got a doozy for you today. Get your drink, pull up. We're about to get into it. Make sure you get your pen and paper because we're about to talk about tiny pox, and I'm about to give you several things. I'm about to give you, and I'll make sure in the description box, I'll put the timestamps of how to get to certain things. What I'm not going to put in the description box though is individual links, you guys. For this video, I'm not going to link you to anything, okay? You're going to have to do your own search. But in the tips, I'm going to give you some information of how to find stuff, okay? Now, I'm going to give you facts today, just a few facts about what tiny pox is. I'm going to give you some a concerning timeline of events that have happened in regards to tiny pox and even animal pox. Those are the two words, you guys, that I'm going to use because I'm not sure what I can say, and I absolutely want people to see this video and not have it, taken down. And then on top of that, I'm going to give you an actual grocery list, stuff that you should be getting to prepare for, these pox outbreaks. And then I'm going to give you tips and things to keep in mind, specifically with tiny pox, and hopefully just things that will help you get along and get to the things you need, okay? I'm waiting for something, so I just want to make sure I didn't get it before I start, you guys. Okay, I did not. All right, so let's get into some facts. And you guys, forgive me, I'm going to be looking down a lot because I have a lot written down, but I want to make sure that I get you this information. So let's talk about, pox, tiny pox. So basically, what is it? Okay, it's a highly contagious viral disease that, that was here way back in the day, right? And there was two types. One's pretty severe, and that's where you have all the death rates coming from. It's a 30% death rate. And then you have a much milder version of it, okay? Not sure what's going to happen here with us in regards to what version, but you should be ready. The thing is, you guys, is it was eradicated and there was vax for it, right? But it was eradicated in 1980, meaning basically we said, hey, this is gone. We don't have to worry about this anymore. And we kept 2 vials of this disease, you guys, so that you could use it in the future if we needed to, right? You fight disease with disease. So we supposedly had 2 vials left, and allegedly that was in Russia had one and we had one. And I believe the one we had was supposedly in a place in Georgia, okay? So eradicated in 1980. You basically can get it through saliva, right? Droplets. You can get it from touch, from clothing, right? Any kind of fabric, couches, clothing, that type of thing. There is currently not really, actually, I won't even say that. There's basically not hey, here's a cure for this, okay? And then early symptoms are headache, backache, fatigue, vomiting, and then a rash. There's an incubation period that could last up from 7 to 14 days, you guys. But typically after those symptoms start, then 2 to 3 days, you may, as early as 2 to 3 days, you start seeing the rash and you start seeing the bumps bump up, okay? So that's just some basic facts. I didn't want to get too deep into the facts and history of tiny pox, you guys. Please go to the internet, do your own research if you kind of want to know how far back this goes, how serious it got, how many people died, all that good stuff you can find on the internet easily, okay? This is what I want to get into is concerning timeline. Okay, so the reason why this is such a big deal for me and my family is because I go with my gut with a lot of things. I watch a lot of things, I connect some dots where I can connect them, and then I make decisions to prepare for that, okay? So I'm just going to tell you a few things in a timeline that have me concerning to me and why I am hitting this so hard right now with preparing my family, okay? So number one thing is, and you've probably already heard this if you follow any kind of channels like mine, and that's dark winter, right? Simulation that we did back in 2001. Where we simulated, and we do this all the time, you guys, with different simulations and different training, right? But they did a simulation called Dark Winter, and it was a tiny pox outbreak simulation. Now, by that on its own is normal, right? We do simulations, we do training. That's a great one to do. Any kind of bio attack or outbreak or whatever is always good to practice and see if we're ready to go, okay? But there's all types of other things that go on during dark winter that are concerning. I want to talk about tiny pox and the things that have happened since we did that simulation. So after that, Mr. Bill Gates in 2013, 14, 15, 17, 18, 19, 2021, the whole entire time, about once a year, he gets on and he basically warns everybody that will listen about endemics, pandemics, huge viruses coming, viruses that are going to come and wipe us out, viruses that are going to come and kill 30 million people, specifically stating tiny pox as one that is going to come back. Now, mind you, it's eradicated. So the only way it really comes back is if somebody makes it come back, right? Bioterrorism or something other funny stuff happens and it comes back and it makes it back to us. That's the only way, because it's gone, you guys. It's gone, and we supposedly have, the only stuff, we supposedly only had the one vial in a couple places. And I'm going to get to the vials here in a little bit, okay? So he starts warning. This is where it gets funky, you guys. About 2018, so prior to our current situation, in July, all of a sudden, the FDA approves TPOXX, which is an antiviral drug or a treatment, if you will, for tiny pox, okay? So, again, by itself, not so much. So, July, this happens. The FDA approves this drug. They've got it. September of 18, so just a few months later, SIGA, a company called SIGA, is awarded the contract for TPOXX to basically make that drug, okay? Make that drug and get it put into our national defense stockpile, okay? A year later, okay, Emergent Biosolutions is awarded a contract for an actual vax for it. So a year later now, a different company is awarded an actual vax, and it's the ACAM 2000, okay? And this is actually, I'm not going to get too deep into it, but that's actually the drug that was given to the military before, okay? That same month, okay, that we all of a sudden get, some sort of, medication for it and treatment for it, the vial that was in Russia is allegedly destroyed in an explosion, okay? So that disappears, supposedly, okay? That's in September 2019, you guys. That's like recent, okay? This is right before, the crazy outbreak that we're going through right now. This vial disappears. In the same month, the FDA approves the first live non-replication medication, vax for tiny pox and animal pox. So now we have an approval of a medication, a vax for both tiny pox and animal pox in September of 19. Okay, so it's weird. We're getting all these treatments. We're getting all these, levels of vaccines all of a sudden, and it's just a really busy time, okay? And then of course in the middle of it, the Russians are saying that they don't have the one vial that they had. Why at this point, my thing is, why are we preparing so hard all of a sudden to get this stuff done? We're spending tons of money to really get this stuff done, and we're not really talking about it like out loud, unless you're following stuff and you're listening to like Gates and you're watching a lot of articles on each time like FDA is approving something or things are awarded. It's just weird, and it would be hard to connect the dots because we don't really openly talk about this. All right, so that happens. Then let's see, about a year later, that's when our current administration starts using the wording dark winter, and people start losing their minds. Anybody that's following started doing research, found out about the simulation, right? Found out about the training we did with the outbreak, and now they're like, what do you mean dark winter, right? Is it just a play on words from this guy, or is it something real, something to be a warning? Okay, but he does it, he warns. Okay, so then going in, we're gonna fast forward now to the current year. A lot happens this year. So in March of 21, Merrick is a company, and it secures $300 million from the current administration and the Bill Gates Foundation. And essentially it is to bolster them to get ready for the current, virus, to get the Johnson & Johnson ready to go, ramp up, the speeds of producing stuff. It's to ramp up, the buildings. They're working on some other projects with like HIV and different things, right? So all this money is thrown into this company, this Merck, right? And they secure this contract, right? And this money, this $300 million, okay? So that's March. In June, just a couple months later, the FDA approves the first ever antiviral treatment, which we have TPOXX, so I'm not sure why this one would be saying it's the first one. And that's Tembexa. Okay, so they approve an antiviral called Tembexa. That's in June of 21. Then a month later, SIGA, remember SIGA was the one that was awarded the contract to do the TPOXX, announces it's going to expand the use of TPOXX to treat animal pox as well. So not just tiny pox, but now they're saying they're going to expand it, and TPOXX is now going to work on both tiny pox and animal pox. Okay. That's July of 21. Now we go to October. You guys, October, just a few months ago. The administration, he signs an executive order giving the designation to exercise his authority over the National Defense Stockpile, which is crazy because that's where we're keeping all these, treatments and drugs and vax, and we're keeping all this stuff. That's where it's kept, right? And so October, he makes sure that he has the authority. He has the exercise authority over that, which is crazy, you guys. Like, why? What is the threat, And then we start ramping up, people talking about this. The very next month, that's when these vials are allegedly found in PA. 4 or 6 vials are found, and everybody's losing their stuff because they're like, what is going on? Why would there be vials there? Russia, then starts talking the dialogue about Russia. So you have Russia's that lost theirs. Now there's supposedly all these other vials. What happened? And this is what's crazy, you guys. Those vials, one, they came back and tried to say that they were mislabeled. But do you want to know where those vials were found out? They were found at that Merrick place. The same place that we just dumped all the money in from the Bill Gates Foundation, and the administration dumped all this money into this one place, right? And this happens to be the same place that they find these vials. So it's just like too much, right? It's just, I can't stand it. It's too much, okay? So that's a little bit of a timeline for you guys, just so you can kind of understand. And then you throw into the mix, Russia and them threatening that they have all these different ways that they could attack us, whether that's an EMP missiles, regular missiles, nuclear missiles, bioterrorism. Supposedly they don't have this vial. Could you imagine if they still do? And then everybody is, Mr. Bill Gates is talking about, how we need to be worried about bioterrorism. Well, bioterrorism, who would that come from? Who would even have that to be able to use that against us, right? Well, the only people that had it was, Russia. And then now Russia is like, ramping up. Things are getting hot, okay? And so that's concerning, all right? So if you're like me and you've been paying attention and you want to get a grocery list, a supply list together, you want to make sure that you're, getting the right supplies. I have already warned you to get your pandemic supplies. I've already given you list after list of things to get now to prepare for pandemics. Okay, so you should already have a lot of this stuff, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk you through different supplies, and I'm going to walk you through some holistic herbal type stuff, right? We all know that there's natural stuffs out there that you could help fight different things for you, okay? All right, so in no certain order, you guys, we've got rubber gloves, so disposable gloves, biosuits or disposable gowns, some sort of suit or gown that you can basically cover your regular clothes with. P100 masks, N95 masks. Make sure you get the filters to replace for the P100 mask. Face masks, meaning the big plastic ones. Now, you guys, I'm specifically telling you gear for tiny pox. I'm not, so if you're like, that's too much, okay, then don't get it, okay? But I'm telling you right now, this is what you want to get to get ready for stuff that's more serious, like Ebola and like tiny pox and different things like that have a little bit higher death rate, okay? You need to be able to protect yourself. Goggles, so you have to be able to protect your eyes. So that could be a face mask, that could be goggles, okay? Get your tarps and your plastic wrap and your duct tape, a staple gun, heavy duty staple gun, whatever it is, so that if you have to block off a room or a space for somebody to kind of keep them separated from everybody, then you can do that. A cadaver kit, okay, which I'm going to specifically talk about what is in a cadaver kit, you guys, tomorrow in my video that I'm going to do, where I'm going to talk about dead people can kill you, okay, and how dangerous it is and how to get rid of and dispose of if we went through a pandemic or something crazy where people were, passing away, too fast, basically, for our government to handle. How would you do that when that is around you, okay? So I'm going to get into that. Of course, bleach cleaners, Lysol, laundry soap, your dryer, lint dryer, all your laundry stuff, okay? Heavy duty laundry soap. Don't get that cheesy stuff. Get the heavy duty, super cleaning type laundry soaps, okay? Heavy cleaning gloves. So if you're cleaning stuff, you're going to want to have like heavy duty gloves on. If you're doing laundry, heavy duty laundry, so that when you're handling the dirty laundry and clothes and bedding, you're protected. So you need to have, a gown, a suit, heavy duty gloves, be totally covered when you're handling, like, let's say you're changing the bedding for somebody in your family that's fighting tiny pox. You need to be able to protect yourself while you wash that, get that all done, spray down everything, take that off, and then keep it moving. Okay. So just know, have your disposable gloves, have your heavy duty gloves. Okay. So depending on what you're doing, sanitizer, your Fabulosa, all your things. Okay. You can get this from saliva, right? You can get this from touch. So you're cleaning, they need to be using their own bathroom, their own bathtub, all that stuff, hopefully separate. If not, you're needing to clean that stuff like every single time. Seat covers, cleaning stuff. Just think about separation if this comes to your house. Okay. Let's talk about herbal stuff. Okay. Disclaimer, I am not a doctor. I am not a nurse. I'm not going to tell you in depth what each of these things do. You have got to, one, do your own research. Two, go talk to your own doctor and figure out what is good for you, because we're all different. We're all taking different medications already. We all have different ailments, and you need to be getting with your own doctor on these items, okay? So there is an herbal plant, pitcher plant, and it's called Sarracenia purpurea. I'm going to put it on the thing right here, you guys. This is, if you look, this is the number one thing that I think that you're going to find that's a natural thing that you can take in order to battle tiny pox, okay? It is an antiviral type, it has antiviral type properties in it, okay? And you can get this in several different ways. In a homeopathic type tablet, you can get this in, Amazon has liquid forms of this. They're the actual plant itself. So you need to do your research on what you will do and how you will implement it. But this is pretty much the number one thing. And what I find interesting is if you go online and you're really digging in, some sources will have this as, yes, this is to treat tiny pox, right? It will say it in black and white. And recently in October, November of this year, if you go to those same articles, they have now changed it to say, to take out the tiny pox part and that it's not for that. So take that for what it is, and get what you want. Another thing I found in one of my herbal remedy books was honey locust pods, taking the pods, bringing them down to a powder and using them into different things and different pastes. We have yarrow, okay? So if you're talking about teas and different things, yarrow is good. It's good for fever and it's good to put in tea. Also for teas, remember, like anything else, immune boosting is always good. So if you are getting your manuka honey, your ginger garlic, and that's a honey that is pretty nice, and you can get that right on Amazon as well. Think about, the person is going to have rash and the pulpits and the stuff, right? So you're treating the symptoms. You're going to be trying to treat that, right? Keeping the itch down and soothing somebody. So for baths, you could be using golden seal, ginger, any kind of paste and wash. You could be using tansy, neem, carbolic acid, liquid iodine, all of those things good for different paste or wash items for washing, okay, and helping. For itching, I mentioned neem, par leaves, poppy seed paste. And then you can also do like an apple cider vinegar and lemon juice combo 50-50 that you could also use as a wash to help with the itch as well. I think the biggest thing for somebody in your family that gets this is trying to keep them comfortable because, you know, they have all this all over their body. And not only is it big bumps that have pus in them, and if they break, you know, then that pus expands or that pus goes everywhere. Not only does it go on them, it can get in their mouth and their nose, their eyes, okay? It can get on you and then you can get it. So it's very careful. You have to be very careful with these treatments, okay? And then of course, homeopathic tablets that you could add stuff to, or actual for like this one that the SP. And then you, of course, have your normal vitamins, right? Vitamin C, vitamin D, and then lysine is a vitamin, over-the-counter vitamin that's used to help fight shingles and stuff. So it's kind of in the same realm. So that could be a possibility as well, okay? There is all types of stuff, right? When it comes to herbal and, you know, home remedy and all these things, there's so many things that are helpful, okay? And so there's going to be more things on this list. This is just the stuff that I personally am getting to prepare to get ahead of some stuff. But do your own research, see what you find, and talk to your doctor. Your doctor might be able to tell you some stuff that would naturally help either treat symptoms or treat, you know, things as they happen, or good to boost, okay? Stuff that's going to be safe for you for your medical regimen. Okay, so now let's get into tips. So tips, remember there's an incubation period, right? So possibly you could have this for 7 to 12 days, 14 days, I mean, and not know it, right? So essentially, you could have it, maybe you're not paying attention to what's going on with your body, you don't know, and that's why this is so dangerous, because you're possibly talking about weeks before we realize somebody has it, and then they try to do contact tracing, and it's so contagious that it's not like what we're dealing with right now, right? It's not like, well, okay, you do contact tracing, and then maybe one or two, if that, you know, has gotten what you have, right? This is different, right? If you have contact, you're catching this, okay? It's just a matter of which strain is it? Is it the heavy duty one? Is it the lighter one? And then what are you doing to combat it? And then of course, what is the government? What are we doing to, you know, what are we bringing out now? What treatments are we bringing out? You know, is there, you know, are they bringing out the vax? What is being pushed? And the problem with that, you guys, is the way we've handled things with this last one. Now you have a bunch of people who are maybe not going to be trusting, and it could possibly be a perfectly good medication to take, vax to take, and people are going to be weary about taking it. So more tips. Listen to your body and know that your symptoms are probably going to start inside, okay? You can actually get those bumps inside. You might start with a sore throat, with the fever, with headaches, with body aches, fatigue, and you're just starting to feel it's just super rough. And so the reason why this is crazy is because it could just feel kind of like a flu, okay? So you just really pay attention to your body and the things that are happening to you that are not normal. Like, you kind of know how you feel and specific symptoms that you personally get when you start getting, let's say, the flu. You know, okay, I'm the type, I usually get this and this or whatever. So just really pay attention to what's going on with your body, and continue to exercise, you know, the things that you have learned over the last couple of years, like staying away from people and not being all up in their bubble and their face. And I'm not saying you need to wear, you know, mask or no mask. I'm not here to tell you all that stuff. I'm just telling you to be careful, because when this hits, it's going to hit, and it's a whole other beast, okay? Next tip is treat the symptoms. So a lot of the things I talked about were things that are good for certain symptoms, right? something for the fever, something for the fatigue, something for actual itching and, keeping these down, right? Making the person feel good, right? Symptoms is what you're treating, okay? Keep boosting. So immune boosting now matters, right? Like anything else, get you some of that good tea made and continue to keep boosting your immune system. With this, think about laundry. Yes, right now, currently, right, you kind of learned, hey, you need to wipe things down, you need to sanitize things, spray down things, because you could catch whatever. But this is more things, right? This hangs out on surfaces. This hangs out on cloth surfaces, bedding, right? Clothing, the couch, the rugs. It hangs out in these locations. So you really have to be much more on top of this cleaning aspect of this when this hits. You need to be top to bottom, hitting that house, hitting surfaces, really being conscious and thinking about places that people are touching or that your family are touching. Think about now where you would put somebody if you had to put them somewhere. And I'm talking like down the road. Let's say the hospitals are overrun. There's just too many people. And you have somebody in your house that can't even go to the hospital because there's no room for them, right? So think about, because a lot of people are like, well, I'm just going to go to the hospital. I'm going to get the treatment. I'm going to get the vax and I'm going to be fine. Well, you might not be fine, first of all, because it has a death rate, okay, that could affect you. And then two, look how we handled and how overran we got before. And that wasn't even that serious. So imagine this time around, it is going to be chaos. And so you've got to take things into your hand and get your place, your home ready and have a place that hey, this is how we would segregate people and separate people and do this and do that. And maybe there's a room with a bathroom so that they can be in that little space by themselves, right? How do you do that? Think that through now, okay? Because when this hits, it's crazy. All right, next thing I have is the first case. It's serious, okay? This is not like just watch the media and watch how they talk about it. No, the first case that hits the States, first of all, the first case that hits anywhere in the world, you guys, I'm shutting my house down. And a lot of people will be like, Tasha, that's what they want. They want to shut you down. They want to put you in your house. Okay, baby, because that's where we're going to be. You're not getting us, okay? I'm ready to go, all right? So first case, it's a wrap. We're not going out. If we do have to go out, it's extreme caution, okay? Extreme caution, okay? I'm suited and booted, all right, to go get anything that I need still, all right? Very, very serious. First case, you need to pay attention. We've already had a couple cases, you guys, sneaking in this last year on the animal pox. So pay attention. You need to be paying attention to that. You need to be paying attention to tiny pox. And just be paying attention. To me, the animal pox, okay, I'm paying attention. There's a couple cases. But I'm telling you right now, the first case of tiny pox, we're shutting it down. Okay? That's what I'm telling you. Okay, different places you go buy this stuff. And remember, it's herbal, so it's plants, it's seeds, it's the different parts of the plants, it's liquids, it's oils, it's tinctures. You can make the tinctures. You can find this stuff on Amazon, on HomeoMart. Let's see, HomeoMart. I have any kind of local herbal holistic type place. Etsy has a ton of stuff. Like if you just put in what you're looking for, there's a ton of people selling stuff on Etsy, which I just recently learned. You think about Etsy and you think about, people like me, I sell candles on Etsy, right? You think about people that sell candles and sell different things that they make with their hands, like wood projects and metal projects and people that make stuff, right? But there is a ton of people like my girl that sells at Buckeyed Seed Garden that sells seeds. There's all types of other stuff, herbal stuff, people who sell tinctures and oil extracts and all types of stuff that they personally make that they sell on Etsy. So check out Etsy. Don't sleep on it. And then, of course, Amazon. I got several of this stuff in a liquid form on Amazon as well. So just continue to utilize all your different places and talk to people, right? Talk to like-minded people, share this information, figure out where people are getting stuff. That's what I do. I have a girlfriend of mine that I hit up all the time. She's great with herbal, holistic stuff. And so anytime I really find something, I try to go to her and be like, hey, what did you find? What do you think of this? Right? And bounce it off. So bounce those ideas and your questions off of people that you know are smarter than you, right? Utilize your sources, all right? And share. And then the last thing is just make your tinctures, get ready, get your supplies, right? Secure the things now before panic, because when panic hits, if there's any fear, I don't understand how people could not have some level of urgency of wanting to at least get the things and be prepared, because there's so many warnings and them just coming out and they're preparing. Why are we preparing so hard for this specific thing? I'm not knocking us doing training, finding a weakness, and then trying to therefore, get ahead of that. That's what I do. So that is legit, right? I'm not even mad about that. But why are we specifically spending so much money on this one thing that was supposedly eradicated if we didn't have intel or know something's going to happen? Another little fact. Remember about a year ago when there was videos popping up on TikTok about Amazon warehouses, and there was pallets upon pallets upon pallets, millions and millions of dead body bags, okay? Pallets and pallets. This was after, the initial outbreak and everybody losing their minds, right? There was pallet upon pallets that people were putting out there on the internet and showing that they were just tons of them, right? And so that's concerning. And at the time we're like, why do you need this? Like, we're scrambling to find, basic PPE. Why is so much of this being, distributed right now? Okay. And that got a little fear in people, like, okay, is this, current pandemic going to take a left, like a hard left all of a sudden and get crazy? And they know that and they're going to prepare. Well, maybe, baby, it wasn't for that. And it was for this other thing that we've seriously been preparing for. And why? Okay. And if that doesn't make you think just a little bit, like, hey, what's going on? Why are we spending so much money on this specific thing? There's other things out there. There's other things out there like HIV, you guys, that's killing people, okay? And we could care less. We don't care. So my thing is, why this, okay? It's just too much. And I don't like it. So I'm not going to do any kind of links, you guys, for any of this stuff in this video, okay? I will put some timestamps on when I started the facts and the timeline. I will go ahead and put it for when I started the tips and when I started the grocery list. So in case you just want to skip right to that, you can do so. I hope you're still here, and I'll see you guys tomorrow on the next video. Take care. Blessings from my bear cave to yours.